book and these, what do they call these? Terminal caps. See, I'm smart. I know what these things are called. These basically go onto the terminals and they cap them. The last thing that's in the bag is a warranty card, so make sure that you fill that out, send it back into the company so you can get things taken care of if something goes wrong. Well, I've been doing a lot of research on these lithium batteries since I agreed to do this review. Even though I wanted to do this a long time ago, I learned this stuff a long time ago. Well, I had to relearn it because I forgot. Well, fortunately, it's not that difficult, so even I can understand it. But one of the main differences between a lithium battery and a lead acid battery, which is what our camper originally came with, is the weight. Now, this battery is 300 amp hours, and it weighs about 58.5 pounds, I believe. Well, the battery that our camper came with is like a 35 amp hour lead acid battery, and it weighs close to 60 pounds, I think. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Well, in order to get 300 amp hours of a lead acid battery, you're looking at probably several hundred pounds worth of weight. And that's added weight into your camper that you don't want. Something like this, less than 60 pounds, you got 300 amp hours. It's amazing. Probably less than 5 years ago, in order to get 300 amp hours worth of lithium battery, you were probably looking at $3,000. Well, this is listed, how much is this listed at? Well, this 300 amp hour lithium battery from Vatrer is listed on Amazon for less than $700. Another really cool feature about this battery is that it comes with its own app. It's called the Zhaozhang Electric app. I guess that's translated Little Elephant Electric. I think that's pretty funny. Well, this is going to coincide with the Victron Smart Shunt that we installed several years ago when we anticipated going to lithium. So I'm going to be able to compare this app to the Victron app to see how good everything actually balances out here. The one thing that I know about our camper is it's a 2017 Rockwood. And back in 2017, lithium wasn't really a big thing yet. And the converter that was installed in our camper is only for lead acid batteries. Now, through my research, I did find out that I could just take this battery and drop it into the camper, use the same lead acid converter that's in there, and we wouldn't have any problems. Guys, well, it's been a couple of weeks and we got everything installed. We got the battery installed and the converter installed. And it wasn't really as difficult as you might think. It was definitely easier than I thought. Understand, this isn't the final assembly. This is just what's going to get us by. I know it's going to drive some of you guys crazy with this horrible install job that I did here. But the straps, this thing really isn't going to, it's not going to shift. I used some of the foam from inside the box for it to set in. But I put a piece of plywood down to try to disperse some of the weight. And then I strapped it in with some eye hooks that I attached to the frame. And it seems like it's pretty solid to me. I gotta be honest, the installation doesn't bother me, but I haven't shown Christy yet. And I know as soon as she sees it, she's gonna be like, you need to button that up. Well, moving up from this awesome battery installation job, we've got an inverter that we installed as well. Now it's a 1200 watt continuous 2400 watt surge power, but it's a pure sine wave inverter. And it comes from G&Del. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, it's upside down. But it's supposed to be a pretty reputable brand. Now I'm going to plug the camper into that extension cord right there, and then I'm going to plug that extension cord into the inverter, and that's how we're going to power this thing. Again, realize this isn't the final product. We have some additional things that we've got to do to make this work better. Well, for example, what I want to do here is I want to put an outlet right here that runs from here to the inverter. And then all that I'll have to do is take that into the extension cord and plug it directly into the outlet here. And then inside, that cord right there, or that cable right there, leads to a remote control. Well, not a remote control, but a control panel. So I just have to go inside and hit power, and the inverter will come on. Eventually we'll get all that squared away, but that's again not what today's video is about. Today's video is about the battery, and we're going to see if we can run a test to see if it will sustain us for like an overnight stop somewhere where we don't have any hookups. Well, right now we're in simulation mode. So what I've done here is I parked the camper here under the carport. We're still connected to shore power right now, but let's pretend that there's a really cool F350 dually truck sitting right there in front of the camper and we're still attached. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the shore power. I'm going to turn the battery on, and I'm going to pull the slides out. We're going to set everything up with just the battery power, and we're going to run this test for 2 days, actually today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow morning. Let's get inside and shut some things down. This is what the camper looks like on the inside whenever the slides are in. So we definitely need to pull the slides out if we're going to be staying overnight somewhere. I'm going to turn all this stuff off here. I'm going to go disconnect from shore power. Well, guys, before we get everything all ready to go, I want to show you this app. Now, I want to turn on the Zhaozhang app that they've got. I think I called it a fly app because I'm thinking about drones. But anyway, this is the app that the battery is connected to, and it shows the battery percentage, and it shows the power coming in, the power going out, and it shows the current state of the battery. So right now I've got the battery charged up to 99%. The total voltage is 13.7, and there's no power going in or coming out of this thing. Over here it says on the right power, and that'll say, I think it'll say positive or negative. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to go over to the Victron app, because I've got a Victron shunt that I've installed in there a long time ago, and we're going to see if the numbers are the same. So look at this. It's got to, I guess, upload and connect. All right, so it says that it's 100% state of charge, and the voltage is the same at 13.70. So, and it also says that we've consumed 1.2 amp hours. That's, I don't know what that means exactly, because if we're charged at 100%, it should be 100% of the available hours. Okay, so let me go back to the Zhaozhang. I think I'm probably saying that wrong. But scrolling down on this app here, it shows the single voltage information. So you can compare the cells on the inside of the battery to see if there's one cell that's bad or one that's going bad, and then you'll know if you're going to have a problem. Well, Victron doesn't necessarily have that on their app. I think it's got to reconnect again. But I couldn't find that on their app. So I think that might be a benefit of using Zhaozhang We'll just say Elephant. I think that's a benefit of using the Elephant app. Well, let me get these slides out so we can deplete some of this battery. So we've got power, so I'm going to pull out slide number 2, which is the kitchen slide. All right, time for slides 1 and 3. Well, that was easy. Well, the only thing left to do is to plug this into the inverter. Well, earlier you guys saw the main control panel. Well, right up above it is our on and off switch for the inverter. So you just hold that button down, and when the green light comes on and it says that it's got power, it should have power. Well, now that we've got everything set up, it's time to turn on some lights. So we'll turn on the main entry light here, and we'll turn on this light because we always have all these lights on in the camper. Right now it's about 12:22. So having all these lights on in the camper for probably 8 hours or so isn't going to be energy efficient, but it's going to show us what the battery can really do. Let me turn on some breakers here. So I'm going to turn on the main breaker. And we're going to go with the refrigerator. Not that we're running the refrigerator on the inverter. It's going to be gas, so we don't have to worry about that. But there's some outlets that are attached to it. We're going to turn on this GFI. We'll turn on the microwave just because we may want to use that. It's a 1,000-watt microwave, so our inverter should be able to run that. We're going to leave the AC off. We're going to leave the water heater off, AC2 off. We're going to leave the converter off because you don't want to charge your battery with your battery. And we'll turn on the fireplace as well because there's some outlets attached to that too. Well, something else that we've got to do to pass the time is we've got to watch some TV. So I want to turn the TV on. I'm going to let the TV run for probably till 8 o'clock tonight. We'll see if that'll work. But right now, the antenna is not very good, but it's still using the same power that's going to use if we did have a good signal. Hey, it's coming on and off, right? Could you watch that all day? One last thing that I would need here to be comfortable is a fan. So I'm going to turn this fan on. I'm going to turn it on low, and that way we can have some air circulating while we're sitting in stagnant heat in Florida. I've had some people ask me why I feel the need to wear sunglasses inside and outside. Well, these are prescription. So I'm not trying to be cool because I don't think I could be. I'm just trying to be able to see. But let me pull the Elephant app back up, and we're going to see what kind of power we're using right now. Right now it's showing that we're at 99% battery still, 13.46 volts. We're pulling 106, 108 watts with the TV, the lights, and the little fan going. So that does sound like it's quite a bit. So, oh, it says up top here, 36 hours and 48 minutes estimated empty time. I wonder if that's accurate. That's a long time. 37. Oh, it's working its way down. So it's going to probably take some time to adjust that number. It's got to calculate all the stuff that I don't know how to do. The way that this test is going to go is I'm going to leave this camper set up like this for the next 8 hours or so. So around 8 o'clock tonight, I'm going to come back out here. I'm going to turn the TV off. I'm going to move the fan up to the bedroom. And we might turn on a bathroom light. But we're going to turn out the living room lights as well. And then we're going to come back in the morning and we're going to check the battery status. And we're going to see where we stand when it's time to hook the trailer up and to go on to our next adventure. So the next time that I see you guys, it's going to be 8 o'clock tonight. All right, we'll see you in 8 hours. Well, it's 7:57, so it's been about 8 hours since we turned the TV on and we turned all these lights on in the camper. So let me pull up the Elephant app and see where the battery stands. So Bob the battery, it's linked up. We're using 138 watts of power, and we've still got 76% of battery life left. That means it's like 22 hours. So this battery's lasting forever, it seems like. I like it. Well, since it's 8 o'clock, it's about time to take a shower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go turn some water on, and we're going to take a look at the wattage, and we're going to see how much watts the water pump actually uses. So right here on the panel, I'm going to hit water pump, turn the water pump on. In order to take a shower, you got to have the lights on, right? Pump is running. I can hear it running now. Well, I've got the app back up, and it's showing that we're using 205 watts right now. So that's a lot. So this water pump uses a lot of wattage, it sounds like, maybe 75 watts or so. And it runs continuously while we're taking a shower. That could eat up a lot of battery power. Well, anyway, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to shut the water off, and then I'm going to prepare the camper for nighttime. Well, I know it looks kind of dim down here, but we still have a couple of lights on downstairs. And we're finished in the bathroom, so we're going to go into the bedroom here, and we're going to get this room ready for nighttime. So what do we do at night? Basically what we do is we watch TV, and we go to sleep. Well, as of 8:15 p.m., we're still at 76%. We're using 75 watts of power with these lights and with the television, and we still have, it's fluctuating between 39 and 40 hours of time that we've got left on this battery. I've also relocated the fan over there. That's my nighttime sleeping camping fan. Well, come 10 or 11 o'clock, I'm going to come out here and turn this TV off. I'm going to turn these lights off. We'll leave the fan running. And I might leave a light on downstairs just to have a little bit of ambient light. And then I'm going to come back in the morning and we're going to check the battery status again and see where we stand. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a pretty realistic test so far? I don't know either. But I think tomorrow's going to be the telltale. So tomorrow when I come back out here at 8 or 9 o'clock and I make coffee and things like that, it's really going to tell us the shape of this battery and how much battery power we've got left. And if we can do this for maybe 2 days. Who knows? All right, guys. I'll see you in 12 hours. All right, guys, well, it's a little bit after 8 o'clock on the next morning. I came out here last night and I changed all the stuff around. I turned the TV off and I turned the lights off down here. I moved everything upstairs, turned the TV on for a couple of hours. I ran a bunch of water pretending that we were taking showers and getting ready for bed. And apparently I forgot to hit record on this Rode Wireless because there was no audio for that. Well, there was, but it's GoPro audio. GoPro audio is horrible. Anyway, what I want to do this morning is I want to check the status of the batteries, and then I'm going to make a cup of coffee. I know you guys remember Salt from his previous episode. But anyway, let me hit the Elephant app, and we're going to check and see what the status is. All right, so Bob the battery's got a load, and it's saying that we're still at 64%. Right now we're using 49 watts. And once I start making coffee, we're going to see what this number goes up to. I'm not going to really make coffee. I'm just running some water through the coffee pot. Let's get this party started. All right, so we got the coffee pot going. I wanted to make sure that the inverter would run the coffee pot too. That was another one of my things I wanted to test. Well, Salt's over there doing his job. I can tell because he's running. Plus, we're using 965 watts of power right now. So 965 watts of power usually takes about 12 minutes to run a pot of water through the coffee pot. That could really put a dent in our power here. Once the coffee's finished, we'll take a final look at our power, and then we'll call this test a wrap. At least it's more interesting than watching paint dry, right? Not really. I guess while we're waiting for that coffee to finish, we can come out here and look at the inverter. I can hear the fan running in the inverter pretty good, and it's saying that we're pulling, I think it said 780 watts. Yeah, 780 watts out of that inverter. That's not bad. I think that's the first time that inverter's used more than like 50 watts at a time. Well, he's still over here working pretty hard, but look at the empty time. It says we've only got 2 hours and 30 minutes if we continue running this type of powers. All right, well, I jumped over here to the Victron app, and it looks like it's really consistent with that of the Elephant app. It says that we've got 2 hours of runtime left for the power that we're using right now. It says that we're using 950 watts, and we're down to 64%. So those numbers seem really similar. My goodness, Salt, would you hurry up? That's some pretty weak-looking coffee. Well, the coffee is finished. Salt's finished. Ouch, that's hot. Salt's finished doing his job. I've turned him off. We're down to 48 watts, and we're down to 59% on the battery. The only thing that we have left to really do to hook up the truck to the camper and leave this joint is to pull the slides in. And I don't think that we're going to waste our time doing that. I think that we've proven that this battery is awesome. Well, now the only thing really left to do is to plug the camper back into shore power and charge this battery back up. All right, guys. Well, one last thing I want to do is I want to turn this converter on, and I want to get this battery charged back up. So I'm going to go over here to the panel. I'm going to hit converter. I'll turn the converter on. You guys can hear it come on. Let me look at the power thing here. So we're getting 106, 108 watts coming in, and it's going to charge the battery up in 15 hours and 18 minutes. That seems like a really long charge time to me. I don't know. Hopefully the numbers will go down the longer it charges.